Hello Axie Faction, welcome back. Today I want to talk about what I think are going to be the best Axies for Battle V2. But first, I am not a financial advisor, I am not an expert by any means. I'm a gamer and a crypto enthusiast. I love Axie Infinity and I think that sharing ideas is the best way to strengthen the community. Now it's important to note that everything we talk about today is purely speculative. Nobody really knows how good these Axies will be in Battle V2. But if I were to ask somebody with no knowledge of the game what card does more damage, Dual Blade or Gerbil, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to probably guess that Dual Blade does the most damage. We can also cross-reference everything that we know about Battles V2 with the card leaks that we've seen so far. Now we know that these card effects may not be final, but Jihoz himself said,
when we're looking at the cards, we're trying to make them more fun, more a little bit different, but we also want to retain the original spirit of the card, right?
With this, we can start to make some educated guesses about what a good Axie in V2 might look like. But do not worry, I'm going to walk you through every step of my thought process. The first thing I did was create and organize a full list of Axie body parts. I did this because it's actually surprisingly difficult to find a list of body parts for eyes and ears. Well, at least it was before the last marketplace update. If you want to know why that's important, check out my last video on everything you need to know about Battles V2. From there, I went through each individual Axie class to find any body parts with the same name or possible synergies. And this is what I came up with. Now, some of these may seem obvious, and some are a little more niche, and some may be flat out wrong altogether. But we're gonna walk through each synergy I found and rate it as either a likely, unlikely, or a maybe. Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's shown me so much support over the past 2 weeks. It really has been amazing. And I wanted to let you know that I am planning a huge giveaway as soon as we hit 10,000 subscribers. It's a big goal, but I think we can do it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Not only will you get more Axie content, but you'll be helping out the channel a lot and getting us one step closer to this big giveaway. All right, I won't waste your time anymore. Let's get right into theory crafting. All right, let's start off with beasts. The first synergy I want to look at is the double puppy gene on eyes and ears. Now, right off the bat, the word puppy doesn't inspire a lot of intimidation. So I don't expect the cards for puppy to be high damage cards. Instead, I'm expecting them to have a bit more utility, possibly in the form of a morale boost. Because what boosts your morale more than a cute little puppy? I also find it really interesting that the only other card that has to do with a cute puppy, Shiba, involves boosting morale. So when I bounce all this information around in my head, I feel like the perfect double puppy combination would be something like this. So not only do you have the double puppy genes on the eyes and the ears, but you also have Shiba on the tail and Confident on the mouth. Now the only things I would change about this Axie is I would probably give it Dual Blade on the horns and Jaguar on the back. And that's because each one of these cards has a lot of utility in terms of morale boost. But unfortunately, this Axie right here is the closest thing that we have to the perfect puppy combination. And if you look, this Axie isn't even a beast. So good luck, breeders, you've got your work cut out for you. I'm going to go ahead and list this combination as a maybe. I definitely think that there's something going on with the puppy eyes and ears, but I can't say for certain if it has to do with all these other synergies. All right, now let's take a look at Nutcracker. This is probably the most obvious of the synergies. Everyone knows that double Nutcracker does more damage than a single Nutcracker. So obviously triple Nutcracker is going to be even better than that. But we can look a little bit further, and I want to focus on Little Branch and Little Peas. Now, Little Branch is one of the few beast cards that actually involves vegetation in the name, which is strange to have on a beast card. But true to its name, this card actually does more damage when it's comboed or chained with a plant card. Now, Little Peas is the only other body part in the beast category that involves the word little. And what do little peas grow on? They grow on little branches. So if I had to guess, I would say that Little Peas probably has more synergy to do with plant cards as well. Now we know that Little Branch performs well on a plant in Battles V1. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that Little Peas will probably perform well on a plant too. But I really can't help to think that something like this might be really cool to play with in V2. We have the triple Nutcracker gene, we have Little Peas on the eyes with Little Branch on the horns. The only thing I would change is put a plant card on the back instead of Ronin. Now my brain runs wild with this idea. I absolutely love the concept of it, but I have to be honest and smack this one with a not likely. Although I would definitely say that triple Nutcracker is a very likely scenario and I would look out for for that in the future. Alright, so next we have the plant category. Now I couldn't find a lot of synergies here. I have a few ideas that I'll go over real quick. First we have Sakura. Now we've seen this card before, and if you're not familiar, Sakura is actually Japanese for cherry blossom. That leads me to think that Blossom might work in tandem with Sakura, where Sakura allows you to heal this one Axie. If you use it with Blossom, you might heal the entire party. Again, we don't know if the text is going to be the same as it will be in the final version, but the potential is still there. I like the idea, but I'm going to rate this Axie as unlikely, and it's because there's another synergy that I think Blossom might be even better with. And that combination is going to be Blossom, Rosa, and Rosebud. A bud is a flower before it has blossomed. And in case you didn't know, Rosa is the genus of rose. Now, whereas Rosebud performs healing, I'm thinking that the rose ears might have something to do with scent or aroma. I can't say exactly what Blossom might do in this scenario, but if I was going to buy an Axie with the Rosa Rosebud combination, I would definitely get it with the Blossom as well. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this Axie as a maybe. Next up, we have the bugs. Now, before we get into the serious combinations, I just want to talk about Cute Bunny real quick. Just like it's strange to have a card like Little Branch on a beast, I think it's really strange to have a card like Cute Bunny on a bug. What does a bunny have to do with a bug? And that's why I have this strange suspicion. Just like Little Branch works better on a plant, I think Cute Bunny might work better on a beast. But that also might be pretty far-fetched. I'm gonna hit this one with a smooth maybe. Next up, let's look at something a little more serious, but also something that doesn't necessarily belong to a bug. And that is Leaf Bug on the ears and horns. Now, it seems obvious to me that these cards are going to have their full utility when used in combination with plant cards. I mean, just look at Shaun White over here and tell me he doesn't look perfect. I'm going to go ahead and rate this one as likely. The next combination is a little bit out there, but I thought I'd mention it anyway, and that is Bookworm, Garish Worm, and Fish Snacks. Now, the only real concept here is that both the eyes and the back use the word worm, and the tail literally is the worm. I don't really know if there's anything to go off of here, but if I had to pick a random card combination, I would go with Parasite, Mosquito, and Ear Breathing, because they all seem kind of worm related. Regardless, I'm going to hit this one with a unlikely. Now let's take a look at Aquas. Now this is really the most simple Axie class so far. We have double Anemone and double Nemo, and honestly, I think they belong all together. Let me explain why. Now, when I started researching Nemo, I assumed that it was a word in another language, like Rosa or Sakura. But when I Googled it, I literally couldn't find anything. That leads me to believe that the orange fins and tail on this Axie might be a nod to our favorite clownfish, with a letter changed from E to I, probably for copyright reasons. And if you've ever seen Finding Nemo, you'll know that clownfish live in anemones, so it just seems right that they would work together. Now, an Axie like this is one that I'm sure you're all familiar with if you play V1 Arena, and I am really excited how an Axie like this would fare in V2. I'm going to smack this one with a hard likely. Next up, we have the birds. Now, Little Owl is a part that most of you are familiar with, but what I didn't know until I made this list is that Little Owl is also an eye part. And on the ears, we have a not Little Owl. Now in V1, Little Owl allows you to target the fastest enemy, so I can't even guess what kind of utility you'd gain from having Little Owl on both the eyes and the mouth. If you have any idea, let me know in the comments below. Regardless, if you are going for a Little Owl bird, I would definitely pick one up with the Little Owl eyes and the owl ears as well. This one is also getting a likely. Peacemaker is another one that I had no idea existed on the ears as well until I made this list, but right there it is. My best guess is that this is going to be another Nutcracker situation. When using one Peacemaker, you're doing 100% damage, but when you use two Peacemakers, it does 125% damage. Who knows? Regardless of the effect, I think this is a no-brainer. If you're going to get an Axie with Peacemaker, make sure you get Peacemaker on the ears as well. But you also want to make sure that you're not getting Little Owl on the eye. You probably want something different like Mavis. I think double Peacemaker is another very likely combination. And finally, we have Reptiles. Now this is another class that's kind of iffy. Our first combination is Gecko and Wall Gecko. Wall Gecko allows you to reduce damage taken by 15% this round. Now if the card text remains similar, my guess is that if Gecko is used with Wall Gecko, you might reduce damage up to 30%. But honestly, that's a really big stretch from just a single word in common. So I'm going to go ahead and give this Axie an unlikely. Now I want to warn you, this next combination has even less basis than the first, but that is Curved Spine and Bone Sail. Now, as you can see, Bone Sail back here is a large bone that is protruding from the back, and curved spine ears are little spikes poking out of the side. In truth, the only thing they have in common are the visuals, so I'm gonna hit this one with an unlikely as well. The last synergy I found was actually cross-species, and that is the Kotaro eyes for the bug and Kotaro bite for the reptile. The only thing I can find about Kotaro is that it seems to be a Japanese kids show, and that apparently it's a male name of Japanese origin that means shine, cultivate, or thick. So God only knows what this synergy could be. If you have any ideas, please let me know. Now, I really want to hammer in the fact that this really is all speculation. It's a lot of fun to theorize about what these cards will do, but nobody can really know until it comes out. But there is one thing that I can tell you that is true among every card game you play, whether it's Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Hearthstone, or Axie, and that is consistency is key to having success in PvP. And when we hop into Battles V2 with the introduction of the eyes and ears, the amount of cards that we have in our decks will go from 24 all the way to 36. So I'll be looking for consistency anywhere I can. That's why moving forward into Battles V2, you really want to pay attention to the eyes and ears when you're buying your Axies. Now, me personally, I love beasts, and I have been breeding beasts with the double puppy gene, and just recently I bought a full Rimp combination with the triple Nutcracker gene. I just can't wait to try these bad boys out in Battles V2. That's all I've got for you today. Look out for more content to come, and thank you for watching.